All right, guys, welcome back to episode number 10 of our Johnny Football Manziel Cleveland Browns Player Mode Connected Franchise Series. Very excited to see you on this beautiful, wonderful Friday. Regardless of what the weather's like, Friday is always wonderful and beautiful, and a reason to celebrate. Reason to celebrate today, Cleveland Browns sitting at 5-0. Today they're going to be at home again, taking on the Detroit Lions of the NFC North. So an interconference game that we'll get to right away. There's no injuries to report today. There are no transactions to report. One thing I want to quickly take a look at is the My Stories section. This was the top story following our game last week. Got bumped because I advanced week, but Johnny Manziel stepped up this week to lead the Browns to a 24-19 victory over the Bills. The tweet from Mike Hill: if there are Johnny Manziel doubters, make them watch his game this week on repeat. So despite the interceptions, Johnny Manziel, certainly from last week anyways, getting a lot of positive media attention. Certainly, I'm sure, for his yards through the air, for his commitment to running the ball himself, as well as putting it up in the air, which I think is stellar. He has been, again, good but not great this season. I think the greatness is something that we've yet to see through a lot of this. We'll see how it goes from here on out. Certainly an interesting game last week with him having his first 300-yard game of his career. By the way, I checked the stats. I will update all the player stats at the halfway point of the season. I figure that makes the most sense. But Johnny Football currently is sitting in fourth place in the entire National Football League in terms of passing yardage. And then in terms of receiving yardage, Josh Gordon sitting in seventh at the moment. So pretty cool that we have that connection going on. I would imagine that a lot of our other players, specifically Jordan Cameron, would probably be second in receiving on the team currently, followed by a lot of our guys. For example, Santonio Holmes, I'm sure, is up there relatively high. I would say Nate Burleson hasn't had a ton of catches this year, but certainly we've been spreading the wealth. So if Gordon is that high, who makes that catch, by the way, up the sideline for a gain of 9 yards, we're going to have other guys, certainly not as high on the list, but probably in the neighborhood, at least relatively close. Here we'll look to, let's just play it simple here. Go quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1. Johnny Football's been very reliable so far on these QB sneaks, and not surprisingly, I mean, he's got a great set of guys ahead of him on the interior part of the offensive line. Left guard position we're a little sketchy on, but Alex Mack, one of the best centers in the biz, I've raved about him enough. No need for me to continue raving about him. And there, Johnny Manziel goes up and over for a gain of 4 yards, which is more than we needed, and very nice. Here we go, back inside to Jordan Cameron on his double move. Very nice reception there, 22 yards over the middle. Rifling it in there was Johnny Manziel, and that's a great play. That should allow us to get the clock down to about 3:10 on the practice scenario, roughly there, at which point we will snap this football and hand it off to Ben Tate. Ike Hilliard will be the lead blocker. We'll run it off the left side. Let's see if we can get Cameron. No, we won't flip Cameron. Not enough time. We'll run the play as called with the play clock running down to 1 second. There it is. We hand it off. Tate, nowhere to go really on the inside there. He had a little glimpse of daylight around the outside, hesitated, bounced it back inside. Probably not the best decision, though. I don't think that play would have been overwhelmingly successful either way. So we'll go back here to the passing game. We have Tate in the backfield beside Manziel, just waiting for the play clock to run down a bit. This will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Cameron running the dragger out. Would love to hit him there. Gordon, kind of the home run hitter, doing the double move. With the safety pinching up, Gordon potentially available, but he kind of overruns the route, but Hawkins available right in the middle of the field. Him just cutting in, completely finding a soft spot in the zone, and we'll just call a play to get us down to the 2-minute warning. And that is a beautiful thing. 2 minutes left at the 27-yard line of the practice team. At this point, we're really just 1 first down away from owning this practice, which is a wonderful place to be. We'll get Tate running off tackle here if he can. He tends to, I typically find with Tate that the runs he should be bouncing out, he heads inside for. This one, he does the right thing. First down and more for Tate. Gorgeous run there, 15 yards off the right-hand side. And with that being a first down, that means we're going to be able to kill this clock down to about the 1:12 mark-ish, and then snap the ball at that point. Practice team can still stop the clock 3 times, but certainly will be able to get the clock down, even with their timeouts, to about the 1 minute mark. Very worst case scenario. And if we're able to get the first down, then this game's over for sure. The play clock now at 10 seconds. We'll snap the ball with 1:15 left in the practice scenario in terms of the game clock time. That means when there's 1 second left on the play clock, here it is. Boom. We hand it off. Tate. There you go. He cuts it back. I actually really like that decision. Last 2 decisions. Very nice for Tate. 2nd and 4. Let's go ahead. Let's keep it very simple. Go quarterback sneak. We've been averaging between 2 and 4 yards on this play. So the way I see it, as long as we're able to get that same positive yardage on these next 2 plays, Manziel goes over the top, in for the score. Wow, Johnny Football just over the top and then puts it in the end zone. My goodness, we already have one snapshot, one thumbnail of him doing that, but I think that one deserves a second one. If you guys would agree. Wow, just up and over everybody, and wow, what a play. We'll get that one against the practice team. Kind of a funky angle there. Wow, what a play. We'll see if our defense can hold up, and fortunately they do. 1 second left in the practice scenario. All we got to do is kneel this one out. The practice team turning the ball over at our 20-yard line with 1 second left. One quick QB kneel, and that's all over. Browns take the practice today, and that's good. Happy news on Happy Friday. Gotta love it. Let's hope that the happiness continues rolling into Detroit, or into our game with Detroit. We are, of course, playing in Cleveland. We'll kick things off as soon as the game gets underway by going through the entire Detroit Lions roster. The roster, my take on the Detroit Lions, it's not as nuanced as a lot of people. I know we're NFL rosters relatively well. They have Nick Fairley and Ndamukong Suh on the inside of that defensive line. Very dangerous interior. However, Fairley, both guys, by the way, first-round picks. Suh was drafted second overall just a few years ago. I think 3 or 4 years ago. Second in the, I wanted to say the Matt Stafford draft, but that wouldn't make any sense. I want to say it's the 2010 draft, which would have meant that he's the second pick behind Sam Bradford. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. However, if you Google it really quickly, I'm relatively confident that that's correct. You can feel free to correct me in the comments if that is wrong. Fairley, I think, was the 13th overall selection the following year, maybe 2 years later. He had a solid rookie season that was disappointing this past year. Though I recently read that he lost 30 pounds in an attempt to get back down to his college weight and be a little more mobile, a little more effective in that 4-3 interior. Aside from that, the obvious threat that the Detroit Lions have on the offensive side of the football is Kelvin Johnson. They've added to that with the addition through the draft of Ebron. I honestly don't know much about the rookie tight end who was selected 10th overall. I think it's Eric Ebron. I could be wrong on that. Basically, people are calling him the next Jimmy Graham. Though we'll see how that goes. If they are able to pair those two together, if Matt Stafford can ever stop crumbling under the pressure of the expectations around him, they could have a very dangerous team this season. They're going to receive to start things off. So when we go through the depth chart, they will already have their first drive completed. This will be a test for the Browns defense. Unfortunately, they get us some sweet field position after the Lions' first drive, which goes for a quick 3-and-out. We'll go to the depth chart here. We'll rejig our wide receiver set as we always do at this point in the of the video. Holmes, Burleson, Gordon Hawkins. There we go. Just right. Back to the top. Matthew Stafford, 90 overall, very solid, 25 years old, former first overall pick. Reggie Bush, fortunately for us, is injured. Joique Bell going to be starting there. Michael LaShore, the second string today. Jed Collins, the fullback, wide receiver. Kelvin Johnson, what is there left to be said about him? Golden Tate coming over from the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Kevin Ogletree's injured, so Corey Fuller, T.J. Jones there, the third and fourth receivers. And Eric Ebron, there you have him. 6'4", 245, the rookie tight end, just 20 years of age, but very physically gifted. 87 speed, 84 strength, 90 acceleration. I mean, this cat can play, just flat out play. I don't know if his numbers will be that high in the actual Madden 15, but certainly he's a guy who can light you up. Riley Reif, the left tackle, left guard Rob Sims, center Dominic Raiola, right guard Larry Warford, and right tackle LeAdrian Waddle. Honestly, don't know much about that offensive line. It's not a stellar group, though. Jason Jones, the left and right end, Ezekiel Ansah, defensive tackles. These are the two guys I'm talking about. Ndamukong Suh's actually injured, and Nick Fairley's nowhere to be found. Don't know why that's the case. Maybe he was traded. I don't know. Karen Reed will be starting today alongside Andre Flulin, and that'll give us an opportunity to expose that. Gotta love it when your opponents don't have some of their best players in the game. Ashley Palmer, the starting left outside linebacker. Middle linebacker, Stephen Tuluk. Right outside linebacker, DeAndre Levy. And then corners, Chris Houston, Darius Slay, Bill Bentley, Cassius Vaughn. We'll have to take advantage of that group. Glover Quinn, the free safety. Strong safety, James Idigbo. Kicker, Josh Brown. Punter, Sam Martin. Kick returner, Golden Tate. Punt returner, Reggie Bush is injured, so Tate will take over that role as well. Fortunately for us, lots of injuries in the lineup for the Lions. It'll certainly impact the way in which we play offense today, scheme wise. Certainly a vulnerable midsection of this interior defensive line. That normally isn't the case. That's really where they rely on a lot of their guys to have success. Johnny Manziel starts off today with a garbage throw. He looked back to that specialized double move post route to Jordan Cameron in the slot. Unfortunately, Manziel just flat out misses him. Not a good start, but we'll keep things moving. We'll go to the run game here. Again, a very vulnerable interior of this Detroit Lions defensive line. We'll test it immediately with Tate going on the left side, and Levy pops him 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Don't understand why Tate tried to take that run outside, but he did, and it certainly did not work out. Would have liked to see him cut that one back in, but who knows? There was another guy breaking through our offensive line. So that run just doomed from the start, I suppose. Maybe the Lions heard what I said. Who knows? On 3rd and 12, we'll get Gordon running the fly route. Burleson, we're going to have him clear out underneath Cameron. Holmes left to right as well as a desperation option. We'll see how this one plays out here. Cameron going to be open. We get it over top of the defensive lineman who dropped back, and Cameron off to the races. 38 yards. We're down to the red zone already. That's a great play, and that's one of the situations that's phenomenal. After a week where we threw 4 interceptions, we throw right into pressure there, but Manziel puts it in the perfect place. Reed, the defensive lineman, dropped back into coverage, and fortunately for us, just enough air on the football to lay that into Cameron's breadbasket just perfectly, and very nice play there. I would say I'm very, very content with that. Scheme-wise, everything. Manziel had Gordon, looks to finally set his feet as Gordon goes to the back of the end zone. He gets popped. That's an incompletion. 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. We did have Gordon for a moment. He didn't have much of a step, though. Was a little worried about potentially putting that one up there. So we decide not to, and play goes for nothing. Let's go ahead here. Look for the slip screen. I'd love to see Manziel take this one into the end zone himself on the right-hand side. But if he's incapable of doing so, Lions showing major blitz here, so we'll just drop it over the top for Tate. If he follows his blocks, he's in, and he is. Touchdown Browns on that one. Perfect play call, counteracting the Lions' blitz, and that is a score of 6-0, soon to be 7-0 for the Browns. Browns defense does what it does best, gets another 3 and out on the Lions' second drive of the game, and off to a solid start. 3 minutes into the game, up 7-0. Manziel already with a touchdown pass, following his first really icky throw of the game, and Manziel just going to throw that one away. And an injury timeout on the field. It'll be interesting to see who that is. Hopefully not one of our guys. Doesn't appear so, at least, just really quickly looking at the names of our players here. So should have been on the Lions defense. We'll roll left to right here. Cameron kind of sort of comes free. We'll check down underneath to Holmes, who makes a nice catch, is hit, but holds on. That is key. Holmes guilty the last couple games, I would say, of sitting down in coverage or even being in stride and taking a shot after making a catch and being unable to hold on. Granted, that's not the type of receiver he is necessarily. More of a finesse guy, not so much a guy to go into the dirty spaces on the field and get rocked and still hold on to the football, but something that every receiver still needs to do. and he did it there. Nice play. Jordan Cameron on that one clears out on the drag route, makes a nice little catch. Little move after making the reception to get a first down. That is wonderful. Following that, I think on first down, we'll go back to the ground. I think it's time to go back, give Tate another opportunity. We'll go power O. So right out of the I formation, just doing our best to clear all the defenders out of the way. Guard pulling, and Tate gets a little bit of room. That's a nice play. Brought down by number 91, Jones, but still 5 positive yards on that one for Tate, which I really like. We'll go cross for our 2 running backs at this point, Tate and Hilliard. They're going to cross on this play. We'll get Cameron running the little zig route just as another player to clear out on this one. And we're going to go to Tate. Cameron throws a nice block. Tate sprung up the sidelines down to the 25-yard line. Got to love it when you can set up those receiving routes. So you can, if you have the opportunity to just dunk it down to somebody who's wide open, as Tate was on that play, you can then already have your block set up. And that helps spring Tate for another 10 yards after the catch. This one going right up the gut to Hilliard. He makes a nice job. Just follows Alex Mack. Look at him using his legs. Just pummels the ball up there for a gain of 5 yards. And you know what? Nothing fancy here, folks. We're going to do that exact same thing. Halfback dive weak. We're just going to look to pound the rock up the hole right now, up the offensive line. I'd love to be able to actually change the side of this run. We're not going to be able to do that. And so we will set the fullback in motion, and Tate gets popped, unfortunately, there. That should have been a first down run. However, the fullback there was unable to throw that block. That's actually pretty embarrassing. Hilliard misses the linebacker. The linebacker then levels the running back, and that goes for a loss of 2 yards. That's a real shame there. Cameron fighting against his man, comes open, but just not quite open enough. We get Holmes coming back to the ball, and he does it again. What would have been 4th and 1 goes to 4th and 7 now. Holmes, nice job coming back to the ball. Manziel, nice job leading him up the field away from the defender, who was potentially going to be capable of intercepting that football. Holmes, however, drops it. The defender got a hand in there. Holmes unable to hold on. Pass broken up. And so the Browns send in Billy Cundiff. He makes no mistake. That is up and good. 10-0 Browns. First quarter coming to a close. Likely the first quarter will be done by the time we get back onto the field. We'll see how our defense holds up this time. And, hey, they hold up well. Another 3-and-out there. 3 straight 3-and-outs. Man, we are lucky to have this great defense. Browns defense, by the way, as a team, currently ranked 1st in the NFL. Currently, our offense ranked in the top 5 as well, which is pretty excellent. Hopefully, a trend we can keep up as time goes on. There, Manziel stands in, just a bad throw. Looking at the second move that Josh Gordon made, we did potentially have Holmes on the home run that I was looking at originally, which is why I was a little slow to make the decision there. However, Holmes, just the safety coming over to make the help. No reason up 10 in our own zone to throw a risky pass, and so we go the conservative route, and unfortunately, Manziel just missed him. There he checks down to Burleson, 5-yard gain, not bad at all. At our own 32-yard line, 3rd and 5 now. We'll stand in on the shotgun play and get some left to right movement, and I would love on this play to potentially take off. Manziel has yet to really run today out of the shotgun, which is what he really loves to do. And he's going to get a chance to do it here. Up the sideline, gets a couple nice blocks, and that is a very nice run. 12 yards, first down, Manziel on that 3rd and 5 at the 44-yard line on our side of the half. So far, Browns offense today has been relatively unstoppable, which is a trend that I would like to see continue, if at all possible. Here we're going long. Santonio Holmes finds the hole, and he's up the sideline, brought down at the 23-yard line of the Lions, but not before he goes for 32 yards on the left-hand side, just on that little corner route. Manziel does a nice job putting that ball right over the top, hits Holmes in stride, just finding the soft spot in the zone, which is the key to any successful passing game, really. When you can get your wide receivers finding holes in the defense's zone, that is key. Here we'll do it the same thing again. Holmes finds the hole in the zone, second consecutive play, and this time he does hold on to the football. Didn't get a huge pop from the strong safety, but certainly the strong safety was eyeing him out. But this time he holds on, which is wonderful. Benjamin into the game now. 4-receiver set. Holmes must be winded, which is why Benjamin is there. Benjamin almost came open there. Didn't. Hawkins at the goal line. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Andrew Hawkins, touchdown. Johnny Football, 2 touchdowns in the just in the first half here. Second quarter, still lots of time to go. Browns defense heads out onto the field, gets another 3 and out. What a dominant performance. Fans here must be going crazy. The Cleveland Browns 5-0 for the first time, I believe, since coming back or becoming an expansion franchise. I should say not coming back, but rejoining the league in terms of expansion. And Manziel takes the sack there, tried to get rid of it at the last second when Tulo came up, tried to dump it off to Tate, who would have been wide open. Instead, just nothing doing. We'll go to the strong formation, hand it off here, counter weak to the strong side of the field. Hopefully Tate can get sprung. But as I was saying, fans here must be loving this. 5-0, having beaten 2 division rivals and looking outstanding. There, Grover Quinn comes up to make the tackle on Tate. Nothing doing for Tate today, getting any type of success running outside of the defensive formation. Very little in the playbook, really, to convert on 3rd and 15. Doesn't mean it can't happen, just mean it doesn't happen often. If Cameron can turn it up here, though, he will get it, and he does. Gets a great block downfield from Santonio Holmes, and that goes for a phenomenal, huge gain. That is 34 yards up the side, most of it after the catch for Cameron, who clears out number 28, the defender there, just could not keep up with him. Holmes gets the great block downfield. Gotta love it when your wide receivers, your slot backs can set up great downfield blocks. That is going to be the difference between a lot of times when you get 12-yard receptions or 5-yard receptions. Huge impact they can have on the game, and that's a huge impact there. Probably the last play before the end of the first half. Holmes just sits down. That's Burleson makes the catch, 6-yard gain. Nate Burleson, again, not used a whole lot on this offense. However, all I ask from my second receivers personally is reliable hands and downfield blocking. That's all I ask from them. And so far, Burleson has provided that when called upon. We'll go to the slip screen here to kick off this drive, the post 2-minute warning version of this drive. Defenders roll, and we're going to have to throw this one away. Unable to escape the left side of the pocket. Some of the defensive linemen were able to move over, cover Tate right there. Did not want to leave him almost as like an antelope to the wolf, or not the wolves, the antelope to the lion there. No pun intended, I promise, with the name of the team we're playing. So we let that sit. We'll check down to Holmes, who gets blown up, drops the football, and that'll mean that we'll have to bring out Billy Cundiff, though. I will say this is our 4th drive of the game. This will be our 4th successful drive, assuming that Billy Cundiff is capable of making a 38-yarder, which he has been this year. I've given him a hard time, but he has only missed, I think, 3 field goals, all from 50-plus yards. He's been solid from 40 and in, and he makes that one, putting us up by 20 points. That is, I think, the biggest lead we've had so far this season through any of our games. And you credit the offense, you credit our defense. They get another stop out of Detroit, who have been awful today, clearly missing some of their injured players. Sue hurt, also their star running back, another first overall pick. We played Mario Williams last year, another supplanted first overall pick in Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush, the same draft as Mario Williams, both of whom have been supplanted. I can recall people saying that, or at least not at the time necessarily, but I can remember hearing that people talking about that draft. I think it was the 2003 draft. I could be wrong on that. But many people saying that the Texans' decision to draft Mario Williams instead of Reggie Bush was going to be one that they looked back on with disgust and would regret for the next 10 years. The reality is, probably if you had to pick the better pro, neither pro is amazing, but if you had to pick between the two of them, I think most people would be pretty happy with, speaking of happy, Quinn with the interception. Cameron was wide open. Quinn makes the athletic play to get over, and there's a pick. Manziel's first interception of the day. That brings up a bad taste with last week being what it is, but Personally, I thought that was a risk worth taking. We really throw that ball in there with a lot of authority, given the extent of the throw. About a 40-yard pass, wide open in the seam. Safety comes over, and fortunately for us, no repercussion, as we're just going to get a chance to run this clock out. With 7 seconds left, there's no need, in my opinion, to throw the ball up. If anything, I think there's a greater chance of throwing a Hail Mary and having the pass intercepted and returned for a touchdown than actually throwing a Hail Mary and getting a touchdown out of it. So we run the ball half over, and we're going to get a chance to receive at the start of the second half, which is pretty special. But as I was saying, Reggie Bush, the second pick of that draft, in retrospect, Texans probably make the right call, but both players have of course, been supplanted. No longer with the Saints is Reggie Bush. No longer with the Texans is Mario Williams. Actually, both players not actually lasting very long in their cities. I think they both played out their rookie contracts and left. Though that was a time where you could sign guys to huge rookie contracts in terms of length, whereas nowadays all of those contracts are limited to just 4 years. Manziel on down number 1 throws it away. Nobody biting on the pump fake, which also I think is another thing tied to awareness. If I remember remember the article I read correctly, the extent to which defenders will buy your quarterback's pump fakes is tied to the quarterback's awareness. So the lower the rating, the less likely defenders are to buy those pump fakes. And Manziel, though his awareness has improved drastically since coming to Cleveland, being drafted and being named the starting quarterback, the reality is his awareness is still relatively low at just 76 rather. And so not a guy who's going to fool a lot of these talented defensive backs that the NFL has to offer. Here he goes in the second straight play to Gordon, though Gordon is unable to keep his feet in bounds that time. Not the end of the world. We'll look to hand this ball off. We actually, with the score being what it is, we should be looking to run the ball a lot more than I am, partly because Tate has been incapable of getting a lot of yardage along the ground. Though there he has a nice play, nice hole up the middle. But it's, even then, you can see he just ran for 6 yards. Before that, he had 10 yards off just 6 carries. Now his average still bad, but not as pathetic as it was. Here we'll just call a very conservative little play, get the slant play going. Hilliard's going to stay in a block. I don't like that. I'll get him out. We roll the pocket so much, it's almost not worth keeping the fullback in a block. We get it into Cameron just perfectly in that little window of the zone between the linebacker and the corner. However, Cameron unable to hold on, and so we'll have to punt for the first time today. Zoltan Mesko into punt at our own 39-yard line. Hopefully, we should at least be able to bury the Lions relatively well. Tate back to receive, and he makes the catch at his 18-yard line, met almost immediately, tackled to the 30-yard line. So Lions don't get great field position out of it. 30-yard line isn't bad field possession, I guess. Field possession. Position, I suppose. We'll sim to player turn, and as it turns out, Lions actually get some offensive results there. They get the ball downfield, approximately 40 yards from the place they started at a field goal. So Lions on the board now, still down 17 by a score of 20-3. Tate takes it up the middle, actually gets some room, makes some nice moves. Another 6-yard gain. Back-to-back carries get him 12 yards combined, which is more than half of his output for the entire day. Maybe there's something to this whole running thing against the Lions that we just haven't figured out yet. We'll go right back to them on third down if we're incapable of getting this first. But Dion Lewis in the flat, we'll get it to him. He's just got to turn it up, and he almost does. That's going to set up 3rd and 1. Manziel, 14 of 25 for 197 on the day, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's going to get the carry here on the QB sneak. Hopefully he can pull what he pulled in practice, just leap over the pile. Though with the hole, actually, with that being said, the hole being on the left-hand side, I might rather just have Manziel just do exactly what he did. Barrel forward on the left-hand side of the open pocket, and that's exactly what he does. The reason that might be preferable to the big jump over the pile is the big jump over the pile leaves him pretty vulnerable to getting popped and subsequently fumbling the football. This way, there's not a lot of impact, anyways, when he finally gets tackled. Here we're gonna check it down. No, we can't check it down. That would have been Joe Thomas losing the block on Ansa. Tough on your tackles when you do as much rolling as we do. And that goes for a 13-yard loss. We had Josh Gordon open momentarily, decided at the last second to check it down to Tate. However, the repositioning of Manziel in the with his footwork led him unable to make that play. And there's Santonio Holmes. He does it again, third time today. He has the ball in his breadbasket and just drops it. Granted, the defender, I'm sure, got a hand in there, but man, oh man, if you're going to be the number one receiver on an NFL team, you got to hold on to some of those. And so far, Holmes has actually dropped, I think, more of those impact-type receptions than he's held on to. On this one, likely we're just going to check it down to Tate. We have a few fly routes that we're going to run just in case. We're going to go to Gordon here, and it's knocked down. Actually, lucky that one was not intercepted. That one I led Gordon out of bounds, however, not wanting to throw it out of bounds. Manziel kept it in the field of play a little bit, dangerously close to the defender. I just had to throw that ball earlier. Either way, second straight punt. Not something that's a good thing. Certainly was hoping to at least get a couple first downs there to win the battle of field position. Here, Tate catches it at his 40 and returns it over the 50-yard line. Lions set to scrimmage at our 47. Never good when your opponent is scrimmaging on your side of half. Fortunately for us, they punted and must have been a punt and then just an excellent return because we got the ball on our own 40 or on our own 40-yard line, actually ahead of where we just finished scrimmaging, which is pretty great. Cameron with a step on his man. He goes out, makes the catch, and he's got some space. He's down to the 20, the 15, wrapped up finally, brought down, but not before he goes for a massive gain. That is a gain of 45 yards. That might even be his best on the season. I know Cameron has another very long reception that he had yesterday. But actually, on second thought, I'm quite confident that's his second longest reception. But a great play. That puts Manziel probably very close to 250 yards on the day. And being in the red zone, all of a sudden, one play in the red zone, fourth quarter. Let's keep this one simple, shall we? Let's run it on first down in the I formation, and for the third or fourth straight time, Tate actually finds some daylight up the gut. Credit the offensive line for that. Finally, kind of smartening up, so to speak, and getting a decent set of blocks there for Tate to work with up the gut. Exact same play coming right up. 6:30 left in the game. Tate goes and he cuts it back, almost gets the first down, and on 3rd and 1, we'll just do the Johnny Manziel special. Keep that ball on the QB sneak and see if we can't get the first down. And hey, who knows? If we decide to jump over the pile, maybe we even get a little practice special. And we almost did a 4-yard gain for Johnny Manziel there. And let's do it again, shall we? When we got Alex Mack up front, you may as well use him. And Dave and Jones, or Joseph and company. We'll get Manziel going over the top. Can he make it there? He almost does. 2nd and goal from the 1 upcoming. This play would be huge because it would essentially guarantee us the victory. We'll go ahead, go pass here. If we're unsuccessful in this, we're not going to try anything stupid here. I will not press this into coverage if the option to throw isn't realistically there. Cameron semi-open, not wanting to risk it, will throw it away. Could have potentially thrown it into Cameron, but the defense was not fooled at all by the play action, and so we're going to play it very conservatively here. No reason up 17 points with 4:53 left to try anything silly, potentially throw a pick, have it go the other way, and we're just going to let Manziel do what he does, carry it over the top, touchdown Browns, and Johnny Manziel gets his 3rd touchdown of the day. 2 through the air, 1 on the ground there. We kick it off, and wow, Lions put together a full touchdown drive, get the 2-point convert, and we get the ball back at at the Lions' 45-yard line. Lions must have gone for the onside kick, not recovered it, and so not a lot of time left. 3:11, ouch. Hilliard there, the fullback. I have not been impressed with him so far. There he had a perfect opportunity to lay a key block and spring Tate. Instead, that goes for 0 yards. 0, not as good as any type of positive yardage, but 0 yards there. Cameron will be the primary option here. With less than 2:40 left, all we got to do is complete this pass, and that should bring us to the 2-minute warning. Cameron lays one man out up the sideline. Cameron, a career day for him. 5 receptions, 148 yards. Johnny Manziel should be around 275 on the day. There he is, 263. His completion percentage today hasn't been stellar, just over the 50% mark. However, he's made better decisions today. Just one interception to his 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, his team is dominating the game. We'll let this clock run out. 2-minute warning, and with us being in scoring position already, I don't see a way in which the Lions can really come back, given that this is, well, I suppose it's a 2-score game, so I guess there's a way they could come back, but that involves, on the Lions' part, 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. So we'll see how that goes. Tate bounces this one inside. Would have loved to see him bounce that one outside. Goes for 2 yards. Timeout by the Lions. We'll basically do the exact same thing. Maybe go strong formation just to change it up a little bit and see if we can get this one off tackle. Change it up just a little bit. Running to the weak side. Maybe we can get some. Maybe we can get a little bit of break there, and we do break contain just a little bit. 1 yard gain. 3rd and 8. Another timeout. That is the second timeout for the Detroit Lions. 1:53 left. We'll go to the gun, and we'll look to get a first down here. A first down here essentially seals the game for us because it limits the Lions' ability to call any more timeouts. And so we'll send Gordon on the out route. He comes open. He's got to turn it up, though. And he can't. 5-yard gain. That puts Manziel at about 268 on the game, passing-wise, but we'll have to kick the field goal. Though, with that being said, the field goal here does make it a 3-score game, and with 1 timeout and just under 2 minutes left in the game, you got to think that's more or less impossible to do. What you need is quick touchdowns followed by completed onside kicks. And you're going to need at least 2 recovered onside kicks, which happens pretty much never. Lions drive almost the entire field, but it takes up almost all of the time left. We get the ball back at our own 16-yard line. Just 15 seconds left. Hopefully the Lions don't call their timeout. Unfortunately, they don't. They have the good sense not to. No reason to delay the game by 1 more play. And so with that, Neil, the Browns will take it. They will go to 6-0 on the season. We call a play just to have the clock run down. It actually does it, but that's it, folks. 30-11. Browns improved to 6-0. Johnny Manziel, solid game. Not a stellar game, but certainly a solid game. And we'll bring you those stats right away. Here we go. Recap. We'll go player stats. And this will be fun to check out. Player stats. Here we go. We got Johnny Football, 17 of 31, 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Completion percentage is just 54%, though he was better than Matthew Stafford on this day, who was 17 of 33 for 189 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. Rushing-wise, Ben Tate, poor game, 13 for 33. However, he was still better than Joique Bell, 10 carries for 18 yards. Manziel, probably his least successful rushing performance, 6 carries, 19 yards, but he did have a touchdown there. Receiving-wise, Golden Tate led the way for the Lions, 6 catches for 85 yards. Leading the way for the Browns was Jordan Cameron. He was on fire today. 5 catches, 148 yards. Chipping in touchdowns for the Browns, Ben Tate, and, of course, not Corey Fuller, Andrew Hawkins. There he is, 1 catch for 9 yards. Another good performance on the day, despite a few drops. Antonio Holmes, 3 for 58, though he was credited for 3 drops. Way too many. Defensively, Carlos Dansby led the game with 8 tackles. Glover Quinn, I think I mistakenly called him Grover at least once in this game. I apologize. 7 tackles for him. Sacks in this one, 3 for Markevius Mingo. Desmond Bryant kicked in 1 more. Paul Kruger kicked in 1 more as well for the Browns. Steven Tuluk and Ezekiel Ansah kicked in sacks each for the Lions. Glover Quinn, the only pick in this one. Kicking-wise, Billy Cundiff was perfect, 3 of 3. Josh Brown, just 1 of 2. Punting-wise, Sam Martin had 7 punts. Olton Mesko, just 2. Kick returns, boom. Punt returns, boom. And that is all, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend, all of you. I will miss you until Happy Monday, but it will be happy because then I will see you again. So, Browns 6-0. Gotta love it. Very successful start to the season, to the series, and all that good stuff. And until next time, I thank you so much for joining me. I am Tuxedo T-Shirt, and I'm out.